is Joe and Cole with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do in this episode is compare the latest Omega horizontal auger juicers. It seems almost like every week Omega comes out with a brand new horizontal auger style juicer, and because there are so many different models out, you know, they got the Omega 8003, 8004, 8005, 8006, 8007, 8008, and the all-new NC800 and NC900. There's so many different models, and there's maybe some confusion out there, so this video is here to answer your questions about the main differences about these machines. So the first thing I'd like to say is that we have the Omega 8004 here, and the Omega 8004 and Omega 8006 are identical, only the color is different. So the 8004 is in the white, the Omega 8006 is in the chrome plated plastic. Next, we have the Omega 8007, and the Omega 8007 is in the silver color. The Omega 8008 is identical to the 8007 except in the chrome-plated plastic. Finally, we have the Omega NC800. The Omega NC800 is in the silver color, and the Omega NC900 is, guess what? The same exact thing as the NC800, but the chrome-plated plastic. And actually, as a special tip, soon enough, Omega will be coming out with a stainless steel version, or just the body only will be stainless steel, plus the catch cup will be stainless steel. Now that's probably due in late this year. There'll be no major upgrades other than the real steel housing and the glass pitcher and glass collection cups. All the juicing apparatus will be identical to the current model. So the models that I did not talk about was the Omega 8003 and 8005. Guess what? They're the same exact thing. The 8003 is in white, the 8005 is the chrome-plated plastic. I will not be covering those. Those are the oldest of the models, which actually I do not recommend because these models have newer features that make it more worthwhile. Such as all these machines have the longest warranty in the juicing industry. It's 15 years long. The original 8003 and 8005 only have a 10-year warranty. That's 5 years less. Other than that, the 8003, 8005 is pretty similar to the 8004, 8006, except it has a melamine auger and a shorter warranty plus a different style on the body. It has a flip-up handle and is a little more compact. So now let's go ahead and compare the different models, and you can think of all these guys as brothers and sisters because they're all in the same family, but they're different generations. Like, you know, you got your parents' generation, your grandparents' generation, and your generation, right? Or maybe you got the Coke generation. But these are different generation models. So we're going to start over here. This is the fourth generation over here. This is the Omega 8004, 8006. So then after the fourth generation comes the fifth generation, the Omega 8007 and 8008. And then finally the sixth generation and the NC800 and NC900. So if you're wondering which one's the newest, well, the sixth generation, this is the Omega's latest model. And actually I prefer this model for a few reasons that I'll go over in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and cover the old ones. So say you want to get one of these models, because they are priced actually less than that guy here, then the one that I'd get out of these two would be the Omega 8007. Now the main reason for this are a few things. Because it is a newer generation, it has upgrades, and is new and different than the previous model. Both these generation machines, fourth and fifth generation, have the same size feed chute. So this is 1.5 inches circular. So that means you may need to cut larger carrots up into pieces, or long pieces so that you can fit it in the feed chute. It also means you will need to cut up your apples and other things to fit it in the feed chute. Now, this one actually has a larger funnel, which I do like a lot. Now the other difference too is this main housing here. The housing on the 8007, 8008 is made of the Eastman Triton copolymer, which is a BPA-free material. And the 8004 and 8005 have the standard polycarbonate, which does contain some BPA. Probably the next major difference with these guys are probably in the shape of the screen and the material the screen is made out of. Here we have the Omega 8004, 8006 screen, and here is the Omega 8007 and 8008 screen. As you guys can see, This screen has been redesigned. The screen actually has more screen area, and so that means it makes cleaning a little bit more harder because the screen is the hardest thing to clean on any juicer. And also it has a stainless steel first stage screen. So these machines are known as dual stage single auger horizontal juicers because on the initial crush some juice is released and basically it comes through the first stage. So on the 8004, 8006, the first stage is a plastic screen which has been known to break. The new upgraded 8007, 8008 now has a stainless steel part, so it's much stronger. And overall there's 25% more screen area, which means you're probably going to get a higher yield. So I do like the Omega 8004, 8006, and the Omega 8007 and 8008. Because basically what happens is on this end cap, there are no adjustments. So what does this mean to you? This means it makes your juicing experience really easy. This is preset at the factory to keep some back pressure on the pulp and only let it out when it's fairly dry. So this is like a no-brainer juicer. It's like getting on a tricycle and getting on and driving it and you're not going to fall off. Whereas if you get on a bicycle or a unicycle, you know, unless you know how to do it, you may fall off, right? So it's a lot easier to use these two models. Now, I do want to say that these are horizontal single auger juicers. John, what does that mean? Well, that means each of these machines have a single auger, and this is an auger that like turns around, and basically the produce goes in there, it crushes and squeezes out the juice out of the produce. And if we take a look at both these augers here, both these augers, I mean, they are virtually identical. They may be just a little bit different, but, to my untrained eyes, these augers are pretty much the same for all practical purposes. So the augers are the same. Now, these style machines are the horizontal because they got the auger running horizontally. They also have the vertical augers where the augers run up and down. Now, it's very important to know that these style juicers are best at juicing some things and not so good at juicing others. Every juicer on the market has its pros and has its cons. And my job is to share with you guys what these pros and cons are so that you could pick out the juicer that's best going to meet your needs, because my needs may be different than your needs. You may juice something totally different than me. So for example, the horizontal single auger juicers are the best juicer by far, in my opinion, based on my testing that I have on YouTube, for juicing leafy greens and sprouts. Absolutely the best for sprouts and the leafy greens. So if you want to juice things like wheatgrass and things like sunflower greens, these are the machines I would get, one of the horizontal auger machines. If you want to juice a lot of leafy greens like kale, collard greens, Swiss chard, dandelion greens, wild foods, wild greens, once again, these are your babies. They're going to produce the highest amount of yield over all the other juicers that I've tested when juicing leafy greens by themselves. That being said, if you want to know which one of these are the most efficient on leafy greens, it's going to be the NC800. Based on my tests, it's 20 to 25% more efficient than these older models. Now, if you want to juice something like hard vegetables, these machines juice hard vegetables such as carrots and beets just fine. They do a good job, although they don't get as high of a yield as like a centrifugal ejection machine. But the thing to remember is that these machines run at a low and slow 80 RPMs or revolutions per minute. This means there's going to be much less oxidation and you're going to make a more nutritious juice that will be able to store for a longer period of time. The manufacturer advertises these juicers producing a juice that can be stored up to 72 hours, although I always say and encourage you guys to drink your juice right after it's made for the highest level of health. Of course, if you're going to save your juice, drinking a day-old juice is far better than, popping open a Coca-Cola or a coffee or, some other beverage that you may be drinking. So keep that in mind. So we know that it does the hard vegetables good, the leafy greens the best. John, what about the fruits, man? So if you try to juice straight fruits, like say, John, I want to make pineapple juice, man. Use one of these juicers. It's not going to work so well. These machines really are best at the leafy greens, very strong, decent and quite good at the hard vegetables, but at fruits alone, then it doesn't work so well. Now, if you want to juice fruits with some, hard vegetables, then it's going to do just fine. So you're going to put like a piece of pineapple, piece of carrot, piece of pineapple, piece of carrot. It's going to work great. But if you just try to do straight pineapple, it's not going to work so well. And so if you want to juice like something like mixed juices, like John, I want to juice like, mostly green juices with some fruits to make it sweet, then yes, these would be your babies. Also, these guys actually probably one of the best juices for juicing ginger that I know of. Now, before I get into the all-new NC800 and NC900, the differences between this and these models, the other thing I'd like to say is that all these machines are more than just a juicer. These are all actually known as nutrition centers, although this is the NC800, which is the Nutrition Center 800. These are actually the Omega 8004 Nutrition Center and the 8007 Nutrition Center. Now, these are more than juicers because besides just having the standard juicing screen that I pointed out earlier, you also get what is called a blank plate. So this blank plate allows you to put it in the machine here, and what happens is everything that you put in the machine now will basically just get mushed up and homogenized or crushed up really small. So what this attachment allows you to do is to take coffee beans and run it through your juicer to grind up your coffee. You can take roasted peanuts, put it through the machine, and get your peanut butter, like a nice crunchy peanut butter. You could actually take things like frozen bananas and other frozen fruits, put it through the machine, and get 100% frozen fruit sorbet, which is much healthier than ice cream. So this machine will also allow you to make and extrude pasta shapes out of pasta dough. So I have no idea how to make pasta dough. You probably got to use eggs and wheat and water and all this kind of stuff. You make the dough, you put it through it, and it extrudes the pasta shapes, that you will then cook and be able to eat and enjoy to make your own foods at home. And that's what I like about all the Omega horizontal auger juicers. They are truly multi-function machines. So next, let's get into Omega's newest horizontal single auger machine, the Omega NC800 and the NC900. Now, if you want a small footprint on your counter, this guy is going to be your baby because it's the smallest footprint, the Omega 8007, 8008. This one has a little bit larger footprint, and this one is the largest of them all. So to get into this, the main differences between this machine and these guys are twofold. Number one, this is also the BPA-free Eastman Triton copolymer material. So once again, these two machines on this side of the table have the BPA copolymer instead of the polycarbonate. The next thing on this machine is that it has a much larger feed chute. So you can see the feed chute on this one. It's a 1.5 inch in diameter circle, and this one's more like a stadium, like a football stadium seating. And my calculations are like this is like 82% larger. So this means you have to do actually less cutting, less food preparation to use your Omega NC800 and NC900, and I definitely like this a lot. Now, besides just the larger feed chute, which makes feeding produce easier, they've also added this main part here, which is the end cap attachment. So the end cap on the 8007 is non-adjustable, as I mentioned, so it's like a no-brainer. You assemble it, you juice, it's going to come out. Now on the NC800, it's for those of you guys that like to tinker or want to get the highest yield, this is it. So instead of just having the standard outlet like this, and if you take this off, you can just run it like that with no adjustment. But I would encourage you guys to use the adjustment feature. On here, there's basically numbers from 0 to 5, and you need to put this on here. And what you do is as you tighten this up to go to like 5, it puts the most back pressure on the produce, so it will keep the produce inside the machine longer to extract, the most amount of juice. And that's why in my test I've gotten 25% higher yields in the NC800 juicing, for example, leafy greens. Of course, your results may vary, but I can guarantee you this machine will outperform these guys because of this adjustment. Now, this adjustment can be difficult to get the hang of, much like riding a bicycle for the first time. You might have fallen off, but once you kind of know how to do it, you'll know how to do it. Basically, to sum it up, if you're juicing leafy greens and vegetables, you're going to want to put it on 5. If things start backing up in the chute and not coming through, then you're just going to loosen it up one number at a time until the produce starts flowing. Then you might want to back it back and increase the number until 5, until the produce just starts to trickle out, right? We want to keep the produce in there as long as possible to get the most amount of yield. Now, on the other hand, if you're juicing really soft things like apples or something, You might even need to take this off, or put it on a 1 so it provides little back pressure, because the fruits in this style machine really start to back up good because of the back pressure. Fruits cannot have any back pressure because they don't have the hard fibrous material that like leafy greens and carrots do to help push all that pulp out. Now let's take a look at the juicing screen on the NC800, and here it is right here. We're going to compare that first to the Omega 8004 screen. So if we look at that, basically these screens are fairly similar. It looks like to me that there's a little bit more screen area on the NC800 than the Omega 8004. And once again, this has the first stage is plastic, the second stage is a stainless steel. Next, let's go ahead and compare it to the Omega 8007. And on this guy, the screen looks, I don't know, almost the same area on the stage 2, maybe a little bit larger on the 8007, 8008. And of course, the first stage screen on the 8007 is stainless steel. On this, it is plastic, and there's much greater screen area on the 8007, 8008. So yeah, so that's what the screens are. And basically the augers, once again, if we take out the auger on the NC800 and like the 8007, basically to my untrained eye, they virtually look identical. It might be, a tad bit different. Maybe the ribbing's a little bit taller on the 8007 and 8008, so I would not, interchange the augers by any means. So there you have it. Those are the main differences between the 8004, 8007, and NC800. If I was going to buy a juicer, I would spring for the latest and greatest model. I would go for the NC800. In my test, it performs better. It has a wider feed sheet that makes it easier. It has an adjustable pulp outlet control that's going to allow you to get the maximum yield. Now, if you didn't want to spring for this guy, it was just too expensive, then, in my opinion, you want to go for the Omega 8007 machine. This is priced comparable to the 8004, but has some upgraded features to make it even better. And, I hear that there may even be some upgrades coming out for this model later, whereas they may not be coming out for the 8004 later on. In the end, I like to say no matter which of these Omega horizontal single auger style machines you're getting some of the easiest to clean juicers on the whole market. All these guys take me under 2 minutes to clean. They take me the least amount of time. They work the best on leafy greens, wheatgrass, and sprouts. And it's the one that I believe you may want to purchase if you really want to hit up the green juices hard. The last thing I'd like to say today is that if you're interested in purchasing one of these guys or already own one of these guys, I would highly encourage you guys to watch my video entitled Common Questions and Answers for the Omega 8004. At the time I made that video, these guys were not even out yet, but the video that I made for the 8004, 8006 will apply to these models because the technology is the same. In that video I explained how to properly use the machine, some of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years for cleaning, and about how to feed the produce, and also about, if your machine has some vibration in it, also about some of the extra spacing in the machine, and all this stuff. So once you watch that one, you'll know exactly for sure how to work all these machines, so you'll get the perfect green vegetable juice every single time. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode learning about the differences between the 8004, 8006, 8007, 8008, and the Omega NC800 and NC900. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors. Alright, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do today is use an all-new juicer that I don't even think I've ever used in my life. Maybe once at a trade show, maybe I just saw it, I forget now. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the